When Team Ninja announced they were bringing Ninja Gaiden, a notoriously intense high-speed action series, to the Nintendo DS, fans and critics alike raised eyebrows. How could a franchise known for lightning-fast combos and demanding gameplay translate to a system with no analog stick and limited horsepower? But for director Tomonobu Itagaki, this was exactly the challenge that made the project exciting. Rather than attempting to mimic console gameplay, Team Ninja embraced the DS's unique features, crafting a game from the ground up that would feel fresh, intuitive and distinctly handheld. Itagaki believed that hardcore gamers weren't confined to consoles, and he wanted to create an action experience that handheld players could truly sink their teeth into. The DS's stylus-based input intrigued the team. It presented an opportunity to rethink how action games could be played. With Dragon Sword, Team Ninja aimed to prove that innovation didn't mean compromise. They succeeded in designing a control scheme that was responsive, fun and surprisingly deep. Built over 2 years, Dragon Sword wasn't just a side project. It was a bold experiment in redefining what a handheld action game could be, and a rare example of a developer tailoring a AAA franchise to suit the unique identity of a portable system. Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword fills in the narrative gap between Ninja Gaiden for the Xbox and its sequel Ninja Gaiden 2, which would launch a few months later on the Xbox 360. Set 6 months after the Dark Dragon Blade incident, Ryu Hayabusa has rebuilt the Hayabusa village and resumed training new warriors, including the promising young Kunoichi Momiji. But peace is short-lived. Momiji is kidnapped by the Black Spider Ninja Clan under orders from their twisted leader Obaba. Her goal is to collect the Eye of the Dragon and use it to awaken a powerful ancient fiend named Ishtaros. Ryu's search takes a strange turn when he's suddenly transported back to Tyron, the ruined capital of the Holy Vigor Empire. There, surrounded by resurgent fiends, he finds a mysterious object, one of 8 Dark Dragon Stones, each containing the will of a Dark Dragon. Master swordsmith Muramasa warns that collecting all 8 could unleash a force even more dangerous than the Dark Dragon Blade itself, but also believes Ryu is the only one capable of stopping that threat. As Ryu gathers the Dragon Stones, the trail leads him to the Black Spider Clan's stronghold. He defeats Obaba, now transformed into a grotesque fiend, and enters a portal to the underworld, where Ishtaros awaits, holding an unconscious Momiji hostage. With all 8 Dragon Stones in her possession, Ishtaros claims that Ryu's Dragon Sword is useless without the Eye of the Dragon. But in a powerful moment, the spirit of Kuraha, Ryu's fallen comrade, appears, awakening Momiji's spirit. Together they release the Eye of the Dragon, which fuses with the Dragon Sword, transforming it into the legendary True Dragon Sword once again. Ryu defeats Ishtaros, only for her twin sister Nichai to appear. She drags her sister's body and the Dragon Stones deeper into the underworld in a final attempt to resurrect the Holy Vigor Emperor. However, the overwhelming power of the Dragon Stones backfires, destroying the Emperor's symbolic form and encasing Ishtaros in a cocoon. In a last stand, Nichai battles Ryu and is mortally wounded. As she collapses, the cocoon absorbs her body, triggering a final catastrophic transformation. From the husk emerges a Dark Dragon, an ancient monstrous being born from the essence of the 8 Dragon Stones. Ryu faces his ultimate challenge in a climactic battle against this apocalyptic creature. After a grueling fight, the dragon is slain and the underworld's threat is finally sealed. Ryu returns to the Hayabusa village with Momiji, who miraculously survived. Visiting Kuraha's grave, Momiji vows to become stronger and to protect both herself and the Eye of the Dragon. With renewed resolve, she joins Ryu to continue her training as a true warrior. The story unfolds across 13 chapters and is told through stylish manga-style panels that look fantastic on the DS. While not groundbreaking, it's effective and much more cohesive than the often vague or fragmented narratives of Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2. It fleshes out the series lore, gives actual life to Hayabusa village, finally populated by something other than enemies, and reimagines past bosses Ishtaros and Nichai as central villains rather than one-off encounters. Obaba meanwhile makes for a creepy and compelling new antagonist who feels perfectly at home in the universe. Overall, Dragon Sword does a great job of bridging 2 major entries in the series, giving fans meaningful context and motivation while never losing sight of the action. It's a well-balanced tale that adds emotional weight and mythological depth without ever slowing the pace. Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword puts the Nintendo DS's unique touchscreen front and center, delivering stylus-driven combat that's more intuitive than it first appears. Movement and attacks are executed entirely through stylish gestures, tapping to dash, swiping to attack, and drawing symbols to activate powerful Nimpo techniques. A vertical swipe launches a jumping slash, diagonal strokes unleash spinning aerial combos, and a tap and flick propels Ryu towards enemies with a fast, deadly strike. By the 3rd chapter, the mechanics start to click, and it becomes second nature to chain together attacks like a stylish wielding ninja. Combat is complemented by light platforming and environmental interactions. These movements are never complex, but they offer a welcome break from combat and adds just enough variety to keep exploration interesting. That said, the controls are easily the most awkward in the Ninja Gaiden series. There's a learning curve and the stylus-based approach won't be for everyone, but once mastered, it delivers a fluid and responsive experience. The real downside is the gameplay simplicity. The core loop of slashing enemies can become repetitive, and after a few chapters in a row, fatigue can set in. The inclusion of Denroku, a villager who provides hints and commentary, adds charm and character to the world. It's refreshing to see a Hayabusa village populated with friendly NPCs rather than just corpses or hostile ninjas. These additions help flesh out the setting and make the story feel more grounded. From chapter 5 onward, the game adopts a more linear structure. You gather dragon stones that open portals to new locations, many of which are reimagined areas from the original Ninja Gaiden on Xbox. While this reuse of environments could feel lazy in a larger game, here it works well. It fits the nature of a compact handheld spin-off and offers longtime fans a sense of familiarity through a fresh lens. Seeing iconic locations rendered on the DS adds a layer of nostalgia and reinforces Dragon Sword as both a love letter to the series and a clever reinterpretation of its world. Essence functions as currency, used to upgrade Ryu's health, Ninpo abilities and sword power. The upgrade system is straightforward but effective, offering a tangible sense of progression. Pro tip: use the ultimate technique on best forms to farm essence quickly. Doing so makes it easier to afford upgrades from Muramasa, significantly improving your survivability and damage output. Some enemy choices are questionable, most notably the return of the infamous Ghostfish, arguably the most frustrating foes in the entire series. Their inclusion feels more like a misstep than a nod to longtime fans. On the plus side, enemies from Ninja Gaiden 2, like werewolves and Rasetsu, add some welcome variety to the lineup. Later in the game, I found myself skipping optional encounters. With plenty of essence already accumulated and combat growing repetitive, I was more focused on reaching the final boss than clearing every fight. Most bosses are familiar faces from the first Ninja Gaiden game. Smallgun, Jotunfrau, Pazul and Spirit Doku all return. These fights are generally well designed and enjoyable. For example, I found Flying Swallow to be a highly effective strategy against Spirit Doku. Chapter 10's boss Rasetsu was a tough challenge, especially due to his grab attacks that deal heavy damage. Bosses unique to this game also stand out, with Ishtaros being a particular favorite for offering a fair but challenging fight. Unfortunately, the final battle against the Dark Dragon feels poorly balanced, with attacks that hit too hard and little room for error. It's one of the least enjoyable fights in the game. Still, boss encounters overall are thoughtfully designed within the DS's technical limitations. They serve as the game's true tests of skill and remain some of its most memorable and rewarding moments. There are optional netherworld challenges, but since their only reward is wooden amulets that you can exchange for cutscenes and character info, they feel more like a task for completionists. Casual players can safely skip these without missing much. For a Nintendo DS title, Dragon Sword is visually impressive. Team Ninja uses fully 3D character models, a technical feat given the DS's hardware constraints. Ryu's animations are smooth and fluid, from dashing and flipping to slashing. Enemies are varied and well crafted, though some textures look a bit muddy up close. Where the game truly shines visually is in its storytelling. Cutscenes are presented as high quality manga style panels, featuring stylish artwork paired with voice acting that adds emotional weight and drama. This approach delivers narrative flair without bogging down gameplay or taxing the DS's limited resources. Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword is a bold and surprisingly polished entry in the series, one that proves fast-paced, satisfying action can thrive on handhelds when developers fully embrace the hardware. While it doesn't quite rival the intensity or depth of its console counterparts, it still stands out as one of the most ambitious and technically impressive games on the Nintendo DS. Personally, I did enjoy my time with Dragon Sword, but it's easily the most awkward Ninja Gaiden game to control. The stylus-based mechanics are clever and unique, but the novelty wears thin as combat starts to feel repetitive. Compared to the brutal combo-heavy fights of Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2, this entry lacks that same level of finesse and challenge, especially in its simplified moveset. That said, what elevates the experience are its sharp visuals, especially for the DS, a more fleshed out and believable world, and a cast of characters that add charm and depth to the narrative. It's a one and done title for me. I'm glad I played it, but I don't feel compelled to revisit it, particularly since higher difficulties don't offer enough variety to justify a second run. Still, for DS owners who haven't tried it, Dragon Sword is absolutely worth checking out. It's a unique piece of Ninja Gaiden history and one of the more stylish action titles on the system. And in that regard, it earns its place not just as a solid DS title, but as a meaningful chapter in Ryu Hayabusa's story.
終わったんだ、すべて。里へ帰ろう。